actually have to kick off this work session because we are. So I'm opening this work session on Maps and Apps Gallery. Let's go ahead and do a round of intros.
Pete Peterson.
Forrest Dunbar.
Cameron Perez-Medea.
Felix Rivera. All right, and then I'll turn it back over to the wonderful Tina Miller.
I'm Tina Miller. So I wanted to just start off really quickly with a brief intro for our organizational structure. We're a team of 3. I report to Chris Schutte under the administration section. Here's Chris. We have a charter. We have a policy group they meet monthly, and it's working very well. I included the charter in your packet. So we're going to start with what we have. We have a lot of public resources out. We do public resources in many different formats. So we do web mapping. We also do downloadable PDFs. We also have data outputs. And the goal is simply that it all is pointing to the same authoritative data. So if you use one, you're not in conflict with the other. So the piece I was going to start with is there's actually two different main ways to get to our homepage. If you go to muni.org, the main municipal website, and you click the large maps icon, and this is in your packet, there's one of these, you will get to the GDIC homepage, the GIS program homepage. And that is the landing page for all of the different resources, but many departments are also linking those pages in there, so there's cross-linking that's happening. So we're going to start with getting to the Municipality of Anchorage GIS homepage. So I'm going to just go www.muni.org, and it's the main page, and here's the maps. How many people have been here already? I'm sorry. Is this brand new? Okay. The other way that you can get to us is under municipal departments, under economic and community development. We're the Geographic Data and Information Center, and that goes to our homepage as well. Those are 2 ways to get to our information. Is everybody now on the Maps homepage? Not yet.
I'm sorry, I was not paying attention.
No. We started fast. Okay. So, on the Maps homepage, there's a lot of information. So I thought that we would use one example app to just introduce you to the different tools that are available that are in different apps to help work through. If you go to the Muni homepage and you go to the Election and Government Gallery, which you scroll down, and there's an Elections and Government Gallery, and you click on that, we have an app called Assembly Districts.
Is it out of the map section or back in the
On the map page.
Yeah.
Sorry, say again, maps. Where we click from the maps homepage?
So from the Maps homepage, the Maps.
Election, government.
Yeah. So the Maps homepage has lots of different areas. You can use these as shortcuts. Go Maps and Apps Gallery, and there's an Elections and Government Gallery. And on the Elections and Government Gallery, we were going to start with the Assembly Districts app. And the reason I picked this app is actually from a data perspective. It's pretty simple, but you're very familiar with it, so we can focus on the widgets. In your packet, this is a cheat sheet of widget stuff. On there, if everyone can pull out their brochure from their packet, what I call a widget are each of these little icons that are in there. They come out of the box with our software application, and we configure which data it connects to. So on the Assembly app, I thought we could go through a couple of different exercises to learn about how to use the different widgets. So,
Tina,
yeah?
Are you able to make your window smaller so the text is larger so people can follow you?
Yeah, I'll
Some of the buttons are kind of tiny. Change the resolution.
Is that better?
So can you guys see things like the plus and minus and the zoom buttons and stuff?
So does everybody have the Assembly District app open?
There you go.
Yeah?
Maps.
Okay, so the first challenge I thought is you could select your district. And I'm just going to select this one because it's big in the middle of my screen. And this is called a pop-up window. And the pop-up window...
I'm not the one who put it there.
Maps and apps.
The pop-up window has different kinds of data that you can use. I think we've got, and then you can click and get to other information. So you can click and get to a different website, or you can click on that same assembly district and you can open up a PDF map. For everyone in your packet, I printed a district PDF map for you, as well as an overview map. The reason that's important is that these maps are in an auto update cycle, so if streets change in your area or parcels, we update them weekly on an automatic basis. So all of our PDF maps, there are over 9,000 of them, are on an automatic generation schedule so that we have authoritative information. And that allows you to print your own map. Okay, so up here in the upper right, what I'm looking at right now, this is a legend. This is how you can look and see what data is on the map. So you can see this has assembly districts and it has a municipal boundary. This is layers. So go ahead and click the layers, and I would like everybody to turn the municipality of Anchorage boundary off. We're actually going to be doing redistricting in this room as part of this exercise.
Are we clicking on district map or assembly URL? Or which?
So does everyone have the municipality of Anchorage boundary off? I thought we'd have a little bit fun and click on the draw tool and say, hey, I really am interested in adding this lake to the municipality of Anchorage, to District 2. And then we're going to print the PDF, and we've now made our own custom map. Is everybody able to make their own map, or should I walk around a little bit?
Which the drawing to use?
Any questions? So, you can draw whatever you want. Just, well, it depends what you want. So if you want to draw one, yeah. Yeah. Click, and then you can do another one. Yeah.
Sorry, uncheck it.
Uncheck over here.
And then you can draw here.
Okay, so why don't we do that? Got a drawing?
Which is probably what happens when I'm trying to work on computers.
I think it's more when I'm teaching about computers that that happens.
So I've drawn this, now what do I do?
Well, if you want to print it, share it. So go ahead to X or print. I would hit X. Yeah. And go ahead and make your map, and then you can send someone PDF with the map that you made. Go ahead and hit print. Yeah. And you can change like the style.
So basically,
You can navigate it once it's finished. Okay, so there's one other comment. Has everyone made a PDF map?
No, it's the printed.
Printed.
Over here?
No, just to the left.
That's the format, so that's just kind of
I'm gonna
when we did the map, there was a drop down, it says 1 by 8.5 by 11. It zooms into different.
If you ever wanted to make a picture of the map, use these various
How do I zoom in? We're trying to illustrate here. That's like,
I'm trying to illustrate you can draw
So,
and make your own map.
so now
That's it.
you can click.
so I
Yeah.
can highlight something.
Yeah.
Things here, and you can just draw it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to zoom in on that.
No, no.
I got you.
Okay, there's one last thing that's a very powerful tool that comes out of the box, and you can print the underlying information to a spreadsheet. So, does everyone see the little arrow at the bottom here? If you click, that's called an attribute table. And you can just go here, Options, Export to CSV, hit OK, and you've now created a spreadsheet with all of the information that we have. It's an ugly format, just know that. It's not going to make a pretty spreadsheet out of the box, but it will give you the data. So if you look at this, object ID is meaningless, but it will give you all of this information. For something like assembly districts that only has 6 rows in it, it's not all that difficult to just type your own spreadsheet, but our marijuana permits have a lot of data in them, and if you want to do any other analysis with them, this is a really important tool. Okay, any questions or comments about the assembly district? Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to go on to the next map, if that's okay. The other thing that we do is the maps that we produce, they can be embedded. Hi, John.
So,
yeah?
Actually, I just want to ask a clarifying question. And just because I can't see everyone, feel free to ask clarifying questions if you want. So is this... Yeah. So is this what you would use to draw the redistricting maps?
No. So the redistricting maps, you'd start with the Census Bureau area,
Right.
And then you would create a new data set that shows the correct apportionment or tries to do the population.
But eventually it would,
It
all
would
that
go
data
in
would
here.
go in here
Yes.
and you'd use that. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
How do I get to that contour map like he's got?
Are you playing with the elevation map of the contour? Okay, so what he's done is he's actually turned some stuff off. And so if you click on this layers here, actually just hit the home button because you're somewhere in space. Okay. Yeah, so you zoom down. And
okay.
go ahead and hit the layers.
Yeah, it opens every.
And what he did was you turned off assembly districts and left on the mini boundary. So you have that. Now,
Okay.
we're going to do one other thing with the assembly district map is say I want to see imagery. We have a, go ahead and switch it to imagery. Click on and then that's your username. And then behind you in here, this is the password. It's TIME capital letter. And this number is the number sign. Capital TIME 2 and then capital T. So on here, one thing that we haven't done yet with the assembly district map, which is something that we try to put in each map, is if I want to see it with imagery, I can click the base map gallery, and I can change the underlying base map, so I can make it imagery with hybrid. So
That's my house.
Oh, nice. Well, if you click on one of the different maps, it will show you your house. Or realistic actually. Which I don't know if you want.
it replaces it, actually, for the base map. This is
the base map.
Yeah, and the other ones you are layering on top exactly like that. So it asks questions. So,
Yeah, it takes a little second. Are you on your phone?
all right. This is our first ever assembly hands-on training session, and I'm learning a lot too. Okay, so
Are you scared of that?
I kind of am. So one of the pieces I wanted to try to help everyone understand is that our maps are not just used on that GIS main page. They're embedded in other people's websites. One of the easiest ones to figure that out on is our community councils app. If you go back to your election gallery area that we've been looking at, and you click on community councils, that application that comes up is the exact same one, and we built it for the Federation of Community Councils. So that's a way that you can reduce labor. When we first started, they were like putting in these, anyway, it was a lot of work on their part, and this fixed it. So they just have a link, it's always current, and it's good. So this exercise is to just look at how to get to a different website from the map. So if you look at the top of these are links. You can click here. And this map here is actually, oops, sorry. This link here is actually the same one that's on our GIS homepage.
That's relatively new then.
It's not. It's actually been about 2 years, because we reached out a couple of years ago, but they've been changing their webpage in response to that. But Hillside was wrong on theirs, and so then we just worked with them to get them a replacement. Yeah. But the nice thing is they don't ever have to, that link, the most they would ever have to do is change the link, right? Which is a lot easier than making all new maps. So that's just the information on that. The one other thing on the Community Council, which is a tool we have not discussed yet, is the filter tool. Super cool. It looks like a filter. You click on it, and oh, that one's broken, so let's not do that. Let's do the measure tool. We'll do the filter tool on a different one. So if I want to measure, I can take this, feet US, and I'm just going to go across, and it's 17,900 feet. Now this is really not very interesting. I mean, it's just kind of a nonsense number, but you can do some basic measurement there.
It's very handy when looking at separation distances of lanes.
Oh, there you go.
Is that how it's originally calculated, and then if it's close, they walk it?
They typically walk it.
Yeah. Okay. So then the last thing on here that I thought we could start looking at is when you're stitching some of the different data sets together, it gets a lot more interesting. So this is our Property Information Advanced app. If you go back to the Municipal GIS homepage, it's one of the featured apps. It's one of the most heavily used apps, and there's been different versions around for a long time. This is a much improved version, but essentially this app will let you click on, I've got too many tabs open now. It will let you click on any property within the municipality of Anchorage and find out information that comes from our property appraisal system mashed with our GIS system. So it gives property ownership, value, everything that is on our property appraisal system, along with our municipal GIS parcel data. This is going to bring up some of the challenges, I think, that of data privacy on right now per state law. Our property appraisal system has for a very long time been open data. When you make it available on a map, it becomes much more available, and so there's usually some sort of response. So that will be dealt with. But you can click on any parcel in the municipality of Anchorage. You can select the parcels here. So I can select these parcels. They will show up down here. Options. I'm going to show selected records, and then I can export them to a spreadsheet. And I can have those selected parcels right there as a spreadsheet that I can then open up and find all of the information. Was everybody able to do that? Particular?
Show me again how you select an area.
Okay, so this little tool here, select. I'm going to clear my current selection. I'm going to select, I'm selecting property information. So I'm going to go over here. Oops, sorry. Select. And over here. And then when I go here, I'm going to options, show selected records, and then I can export them to a spreadsheet. A CSV is kind of like a dumb spreadsheet format. If you go in Excel, you can search for this CSV extension. You just have to override it. So then you have that information available to you in Excel. So that's just viewing the mashup of property information and GIS data. It's getting you, oops, sorry.
I have a question. Is this also where, at that map we were just at, with this map, can Can you search by name instead of parcel number?
You actually can. So if you come up here, that is something that would be a choice. Search by owner or leasee. Say I'm gonna,
Fred Dyson.
Oh, wow.
Huh?
That
Fred
works.
Dyson.
so these are all the different Dysons. It does limit, so I'm just gonna do Dyson Jeffrey. It's a little bit, you have to, it's not super user friendly on searching by name. You have to kind of know a little bit of the name. So that's where it is.
Mine, it's interesting, because I live in a condo, it gives me like the whole condo area.
Can you showcase a multifamily unit so they can see how to click through?
Would you be horrified if I searched your name?
No, it's not.
Okay.
I just did it.
So on here, what happens on the back end when it's a condo, it's because we're not building based, it's like stacked on top of each other. So there's actually, however many condo owners the areas associated with are literally stacked on top of each other. So, okay. All right.
So it finds, does it say what unit I'm in?
Well, so there is.
If you click through, scroll down.
I will tell you in our addressing data set, which is related to our CAMA data set, because of historic changes in editing practices, the unit ID for condos, mobile home parks, anything that's kind of like an apartment, it's inconsistent. So that was one of the biggest issues when we were kind of trying to compare it with the census data for the census data update. And it is on our list through the policy group to try to work on. But it's a big thing. So there is a different app that is new, and this is one of the more used ones. So I went on the property information app. Up here, there's a property summary reporter. I would like everybody to click on the property summary reporter. It's also on the main page property summary report. If you go here, this is a different way that you search through addresses, and I'm going to show you all the different data sets that are turned off. And the reason I'm showing you that is I'm going to search for an address. And this is actually my address. And I'm going to click report. I'm going to do no buffer. I'm going to click report. It's looking through all these different data sets, many that have application for permitting or answering other questions, and then it's going to make a one-page report that you can then click on and print with a map up at the top, and it's going to tell you your assembly district, your community. It's going to click on that. It's going to tell you your assembly district, your tax district. One of the coolest things it also does is it tells you any planning documents for that area. It tells you your wind zone. Which layers we choose is a choice. We can make one for, whatever combination of data sets that we have that are authoritative. But this is kind of fun, and you can also change the text in here. This is my house. Real estate agents are using this type of application very, very, very heavily. So that's our property summary report. Has everybody had a chance to run a property through the property summary report? So wind zone is actually in building code. Yeah, and it's there's different building design criteria for wind dependent on where you live. Seismic zones, I'm sorry?
No, go ahead.
Oh, seismic zones are similar, that there's different building code. Yeah.
Are the tax districts pretty large?
Oh, can we do tax districts?
Sure.
Okay. So tax districts are my favorite, which is because they didn't. I mean, I don't feel like we were sharing it in a way that was accessible to the public previously. What tax districts do is they show how we're taxing people, which is the combination of services that they receive, which is like there's tons of different service areas with meets and bounds. But if you go to the Muni main page and you go to taxes and property information, we have a tax districts app. in that tax district map, for the services that we have been able to map, it does show the mill rate for any area in Anchorage. If you click it up, it also has, if you scroll down, a little pie chart that shows the percent mill rate that goes to the different services. So if I click here and I scroll down, you can see that there's limited. This does not, the little pie chart only includes the services that we were able to get from the document that goes to Assembly that shows the percent mill rate, right? There's some of the services are combined with others, but this matches that spreadsheet that you approve.
Yeah, it's interesting. So the biggest tax district here is tax district number 3, at least covers most of Anchorage, and that is Spenard, so good you.
Well, and if you look at the name, it's such a bad, it's like a historic name because it goes into the northeast of Anchorage.
Right.
Right, so it can be confusing. It's like a nickname.
So, yeah, he has, why is, I get why, you know, the LURSs and stuff are different tax districts, but why would, I'm looking at between tax district 1 and tax district 3 in that order, you know, so why is the tax district different on other opposite sides of like Russian Jack Park, for example?
Yeah, so if you look at these combinations, let's see, police, fire, parks, roads,
Like, so for example,
building.
New Napa Valley has different taxes than Rica, which are on either side of Russian Jack Park. But I can't think of anything that we pay differently.
My answer is, I don't think there's a reason for those tax districts to be different.